the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, and verse 34. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Hey, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who will, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, wherever you might be. Shalom to the 144,000. It's the brother Amawan Padah from the GMS Denver camp. Doing a quick lesson, on some recent news, man. All right. Sin is a reproach to any people. Okay. No matter what nation you're from, whether you're Edomite, Israelite, Moabite, Hamite, Ishmaelite, sin in any form is a reproach to any nation, man. Going against the laws of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It's not a good look, right? Well, this recent news article shows you that Esau is becoming a reproach in the earth because of his sinful ways, man. It's starting to come back to bite his ass. Now, it says righteousness exalted a nation. Okay? And the Lord is finna reestablish our people, the Israelites, to make them completely righteous. And that's why we're going to rule the earth forevermore, man. After the Lord Yahweh Shai returns and changes our vile bodies. But right now, currently, these damn devils are ruling, all right, in wickedness, moving in, perverse ways. And it's coming back to bite them, man. I'm going to show you a quick news article that I came across.
Transgender members of the U.S. military are being given a deadline to turn in their uniforms. On Thursday, the Pentagon released a memo asking those service members to self-identify for voluntary separation by June 6th. Troops who voluntarily separate from the military will receive twice their separation pay. And after those dates, involuntary separation begins. The ban on transgender people in the military comes from an executive order signed by President Donald Trump earlier this year. A federal U.S. district judge previously ruled the ban could not go forward. However, earlier this week, the U.S. Supreme Court issued an emergency ruling that allows the Defense Department to enforce the ban. Transgender.
So you see that. So, Donald Trump is signing an executive order to kick these transformers out of the military. All right. That's a shame. All right. That's a shame that you have a nation that allows that type of abomination in their military, man. These supposed to be men of war. All right. And, having women in the military is off as well. A lot of these different countries have women in their militaries, but thing is that's off, man. That's off. But to have, the transformers openly in your military, man, that's a sign of weakness, man. That's a sign of you losing power, man. That's a reproach, as we started out this lesson with, man. All right.
Uniforms. The Pentagon issued a memo setting a departing deadline of June 6th for active component service members to voluntarily leave the military. The deadline for those in reserve component service is July 7th. Troops that voluntarily leave will receive twice their separation pay. After those dates, involuntary separation begins. This comes after an executive order from President Trump to ban transgender people from the military. U.S. troops who...
All right, so that's the point on that. Let's get some more precepts. We'll, wrap it up. Just want to share that with you. You know what I'm saying? This is going on right now. So this is Jeremiah 51 and verse 30. It says, "The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken." Now this goes into the destruction of America. All right. But it mentions their mighty men. All right, this is actually, talking about, in World War III, how they're going to lose. All right. Because they've become weak, man. Their men are literally become as women. All right. You get a bunch of, homosexuals, in the military, because that's, Esau's vibration. You see? And, transformers openly in the military, man. You see, that shows you that they're becoming weak, man, that their power is being brought down. When you got transformers in your military, that's a sign of weakness, man, straight up. And other nations are laughing at America. All right, your military personnel should be masculine, man. That you know, supposed to be warriors. How the hell you gonna have a damn lady boy fight next to you in the trenches, man? That's some weird shit, man. All right. And it's funny, man, because I believe at one point the military was paying for motherfuckers to get that mutilation surgery. You know, if I'm not mistaken. All right. I believe that the U.S. military was paying, you know, for people to get that transformation surgery. And now they're kicking their ass out because they know shit's about to get real. But it's too late for America, man. You're already done. You already, you know, have become weaker than you were before in times past. You see, 50 years ago, that wouldn't be a thing, man. You wouldn't see no transformers walking around in the U.S. military. This is a sign of their demise, man. And they're trying to hurry up and, you know, regain strength. But nah, man, it's a wrap for y'all. All right, the Lord is zapping y'all's power. Here's another one. All right, Isaiah 14 and verse 10 says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? It's going into the decline of America. You get these other third world countries flexing on America nowadays, man. You know, they're about to go to war with America. They got nuclear missiles. All right. America's infrastructure is failing. All right. The morality of the people is at an all-time low. All right. A lot of these damn devils are on drugs and shit. You know, people, they bugged out over here, man. You see? So America is on its way to becoming a third world country, and then no country eventually when it's blown off the map. But it's clearly on a decline. All right, there's other countries that look way better than America. The streets are cleaner, you know what I'm saying? They got, you know, a quote unquote better society. This place is a goddamn madhouse, right? Because sin is allowed to flourish here. Well, I don't want to use the word flourish. Sin is allowed to run rampant here, all right, especially, you know, in America, but, you know, also the other Western countries. Because I went to Grok, all right, the AI, and I asked it a question. I said, how many nations allow transformers in the military? Matter of fact, let's get that and pull that up real quick. But yeah, man, these other nations are bucking up against America because it's becoming weak and it's on its way out. All right, so here it is right here. All right, the answer. Okay. It says several nations allow transformer individuals to serve openly in their military forces. Based on available information, here's a list of countries known to permit transformer soldiers as of the latest updates. The Netherlands, right? Edomite nation. New Zealand, all right? Spain, Edomites. South Africa, Edomites. Sweden, Edomites, all right? So-called white people, right? Australia, Edomites. You see a trend here? Canada, Edomites. All right, the false state of Israel over there, Edomites. United Kingdom, right? The UK, Edomites. All right, you see all these different nations right here that allow, you know, transformers in their military. They're Edomite nations, man. That's no coincidence, because Esau is the basest of men. He's the most profane fornicator out there, as it tells you in the book of Hebrews. All right. So yeah, man, these other nations, these other countries don't allow that shit. You think North Korea is gonna allow funny boys and weirdos in their military? Nah, man. It's only Esau's hold on, Salakia. But there's more on that. But yeah, it's only the nations that are predominantly Edomites. They allow that shit, showing you their depravity, man. Here's a definition of that word depravity real quick. It says moral corruption or degradation, a depraved act or condition. That's Esau, man. You see, the state of being depraved or corrupted, a violated state of moral character. It's all of Esau's nations, right? Or his countries, should I say. General badness of character, wickedness of mind, come on, man, or heart, absence of religious feeling and principle. That's Esau, man, to the T. All right. Check this shit out.
I do remember kind of putting this on for the first time, and I was starting to think I was never going to get to wear this, and here I am. And especially now, you know, getting to be a lieutenant and getting to wear my rank.
Oops. Yeah, so this right here, all right, you know, is a biological woman. Okay? This is what goes on in Esau's military. This is what goes on with this devil in rulership. Shit like this is allowed, you know, to openly just be out here and be an abomination. You see? This is where we at. This is why the Lord's finna bring that fire, man. This is why America's finna go down, man. This is why Esau's finna be taken out of power, because under his rule, shit like this is going on. Madness, utter madness. This is a fucking biological woman. But they've been getting, you know, given hormones and all type of weird shit to make them appear as if they're a man. Disgusting, man. Utterly disgusting.
I worked really hard for this.
Lieutenant Nick Talbot is the lead plaintiff in a case that could decide if transgender soldiers can serve in the military.
I used to be Nicole Catherine. That was my headshot my senior year for the play. You can kind of see, you know, where when I told my friends, like, oh, I'm transgender, I want to be a man, they're like, yeah, we know. I've had an interest in military service for as long as I can remember.
President Donald Trump first announced a ban on transgender people serving in the military back in 2017.
I was actively working with an Air Force recruiter at the time to try to...
This motherfucker that you're looking at right here has a vagina, man. We gotta get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. The Lord has to end this situation that we're in, man. We need the kingdom. We need Yahushua. That's all I'm gonna say.
To the Air Force, and I just kind of remember in that moment going, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do now? The Biden administration came in and took over and lifted the ban on transgender service members. So to finally have that moment, you know, to finally get that call from my recruiter that, you know, hey, you passed, you're in, just mind-blowing.
The Supreme Court is now considering whether Trump's second ban can go into effect while the lawsuits make their way through the lower courts.
The executive order says, quote, adoption of a gender identity inconsistent with an individual's sex conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life. What does that mean for you?
Statements like that couldn't be farther from the truth. I look in the mirror every day now and I go, this is the most Nick Talbot version we've ever had of Nick Talbot. I think that it's just absolutely ridiculous to insinuate that trans folks and trans service members are, you know, going home and trying to pretend to be something that we're not. I do remember kind of putting this on.
Let's read these comments. Let's see what these people got to say about this. It says, if they can pass stamina and endurance tests and still think clearly, that's the true test. See, people are retarded here, man. Esau has brainwashed these people. All right. A lot of you Israelites believe that that's okay. You know, a lot of you wicked ass Israelites will stand up and defend these people. All right. And that's why you got to go too. Look at this. Let me see. This guy says, I'm a Marine male here. I love women, and this MF right here has my full support. I'm sick and tired of people not living and letting others live. See? Look at these people, man. He talking about he loves women. Whatever, man. If you condone this type of behavior, there's something wrong with your ass too. I just put it that way. Let's see. This woman says, "This guy is so genuine. I couldn't see." It's not a him. That's a woman. Wow. "I couldn't see him as anything other than a dude. Seems like a lovely dude at that. I hope he wins his case for his rights and those of others." See, it's the damn nigga woman. Told you. Which are rights everyone should have. You see? You see why these people gotta go, man? But when you speak out against these type of things, they look at you like you crazy. Alright? We live in a weird, perverse, wicked world, man. I mean, how much longer do you think this shit's gonna continue on before the Lord brings the judgment? I got one more clip. We gonna get a few more presets. We'll close it out.
But earlier today, as we mentioned, the Supreme Court handed down a victory for the Trump administration, allowing a policy barring transgender people from serving in the military now. Lower courts, as you know, previously blocked that ban nationwide. And WJZ is live at 11 o'clock tonight. Ashley Paul has more on how this ban will impact Maryland service members. And Ashley, you spoke with a local organization now coming to defend some of our military workers.
Yeah, Rick. Well, Annapolis Pride is taking a stand against the decision by this morning announcing that the Grand Marshal of their upcoming Pride Parade is also one of the highest ranking officers in the U.S. military.
I know at my core what I stand for, and I believe in.
Do you see this, man? Do you see this? This is a this is a shame. All right? To America. This is a shame right here. All right? Your shame is being exposed to the whole world. Look at this shit. This is what happens under the rule of a damn devil underneath Esau, Edom. You have shit like this in the military with rank.
The ideals of America and the oath that I swore to defend.
18 years in the United States Air Force plus 4 years and counting in the Space Force. Colonel Bree Fram has dedicated her life to serving her country. But a decision by the Supreme Court today brings into question whether her country can support her in return.
When that ruling came out, I and thousands of other transgender service members were doing the jobs and the missions that the military has assigned to us.
Colonel Fram is one of an estimated 15,000 transgender troops currently serving in the United States military.
15,000 transformers in the U.S. military today. And you don't see a problem with that?
Whose jobs could now be in jeopardy. It was back in January when President Donald Trump signed an executive order that targeted active and prospective service members with gender dysphoria, quoting the military's, quote, high standards for troop readiness, lethality, cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity, end quote. He went on to say, quote, medical, surgical, and mental health constraints on individuals with gender dysphoria are not consistent with those standards.
It really shows that we have a lot of work to do to make sure that all of the members of the LGBTQ plus community are seen as actual humans. Because at its core, what this administration is trying to do is trying to separate out individual pieces of our community and really strip away people's humanity. And we're seeing that through the decision that came today.
Joe Toolin with Annapolis Pride says this is why he chose Colonel Fram to be a Grand Marshal in this month's upcoming Pride Parade, to show a perfect example of a top-ranking.
Look at this, man. This motherfucker is going to be a leader in the Pride Parade. And you know that Pride Parade is where all these freaks, all right, gather together and they march around proclaiming their wickedness, all right, amongst little children and everything, man. There's been, recordings, video recordings of lewd acts being done in front of little children at these pride parades, man. The Lord got to fucking destroy this place, man. And I hope it's soon. I hope it's soon. All right, this is utter madness. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, the show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. All right. And this applies to Esau. Okay, they declare their sin as Sodom literally. All right, this applies to you wicked Israelites as well. All right, but Sodom, you know, those cities, Sodom, Gomorrah, and those neighboring cities. All right, they were open with their sinful nature, man. The homosexuality and also other kinds of abominations were just open over there. Well, that applies to Esau. That applies to America, Babylon the Great, and these Western nations. All right, and they've, you know, they're going to receive their judgment for that. Okay, it says woe unto their soul. Woe means destruction. All right, here we have Daniel chapter 4 verse 17. It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to know the intent, that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. And that word basest means lowest. All right, and Esau is the lowest of men on earth. All right, and guess what? He's the one that the Lord set up over the earth. All right, Job 9:24 tells you the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. You see, and he did that. He did that as a punishment unto us, and to show us what a wicked rulership looks like. And we see that it fucking sucks when sin is allowed to run rampant in the earth. You get shit like this. The things that you see here in America, Babylon the Great, and other parts of the world. Pride parades, you know what I'm saying, in your downtown areas. All right. Transformers trying to teach your kids at school and impose their will on them. All right. Unbeknownst to you. That type of shit goes on when wickedness is allowed to rule, and when Esau, all right, the Edomites are in a position of authority. Everybody fucking suffers. I believe it says that in Proverbs 29:2. Matter of fact, let's get there real quick. Yeah, just wanted to pull it up to make sure I had it correct. And it is, Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, all right, the Israelites, the people rejoice. But when the wicked, all right, the Edomites, beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, and really any heathen nation. All right, but Esau's the wicked, and that's why the earth is in the condition that it's in. The people are languishing. All right, people are all depressed and on drugs and shit, and just totally bugged out in their minds, because this devil is ruling, man. He allows wickedness to run rampant. All right, and it brings forth death and confusion and just chaos. All right, but when we're in authority, all right, when the Lord Yahweh Shah returns and puts his 144,000, which is the governing body of the kingdom of Yahweh Shah Shah, once we're set up, then the earth is going to rejoice, man, even the heathen. All right? Because we're going to implement the laws of Yahweh Shah, and abominations like you see in these videos will not be a thing like it is right now, man. We catch you even thinking about doing some shit like that in the kingdom, we're going to get at you. All right? We're going to know. We're going to have the angels report to us and let us know what the hell is going on, man, with these heathen over here. And then we're going to make you an example. All right? We're going to get sin handled immediately in the kingdom, so that things like you saw in those videos don't become a widespread phenomenon.
Officer in the military who lives as her authentic self.
She's just like all of us. She's trying to serve this country. She's trying to make this country a better place.
And Colonel Fram says despite this ruling, that's what she plans to continue to do.
I've served over 22 years in uniform, and if there's one thing I can guarantee, that whether it is in uniform or not, my time of service is not done.
Now, Colonel Fram says she plans to continue to do her job to the best of her ability every...
This might be a dude too. See, we in hell, man. You gotta question everything. This is why you gotta be careful when you out and about, man. You might be thinking you're dealing with a woman, and you find out the hard way that it's a man. All right, you see, and I don't wish that on no brother. You know what I'm saying? But this is the world that we live in. You gotta check Adam's apples, and not even that. You know, they got surgery where they take the Adam's apple out of their neck. All right, you're gonna have to goddamn, do some background research on this person that you're dealing with, man. You gonna have to see a birth certificate and baby pictures and all that, man. You shouldn't have to do that. That shouldn't be a thing, man. But it is underneath the wicked rulership, man.
day until she is no longer able or allowed to. And she hopes to inspire people at that Pride Parade on May 31st in Annapolis by letting them know that trans people are just as capable of serving as anybody else in uniform. On Your Corner in Baltimore, I'm Ashley Paul, WJZ.
All right, so yeah, that's the end of that, man. All right, and it's just crazy. You see, well, out here in Colorado, it's a thing out here, man. You know, damn near every day, I see at least 2 or 3 of these people, man. These transformers, or men dressing as women. All right, I see it all the time. I see Jake partaking in this kind of behavior, man. It's like, yo, where the fuck are we at, man? We in the Twilight Zone. Why would you want this to continue on? Why would you want your children to grow up in a environment like this? And that's just one aspect of this hell that we're in, man. All right, that's just one aspect, man. All right, we got to get the fuck out of here. All right, here we have Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 16, and it says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." All right, yeah, the whole world's looking at America in the West like, man, you're the problem. All right, and that's why World War III is coming. All right, the Lord has stirred up these other nations to get at the great whore known as America. All right, and the beast system ran by these damn Edomites. All right, shameful spewing is upon you, damn devils, man. You're disgracing the earth. And they tried to bring that shit over there to the other countries over there in the east. They were trying to send Kamala Harris to bring democracy to, I think it was Uganda, if I'm not mistaken. And I try to get them to be LGBT acceptable. And they said, nah, get the fuck out of here, bitch. We ain't doing that. We ain't finna pollute our country with that abomination. All right. You see, this is why America gotta go. This is why Esau gotta go, man. They try to forcefully spread their wickedness on other people. I'm getting ready to wrap this thing up. I gotta head out. This is Isaiah 14 and verse 13. It says, "For thou hast said in thine heart," talking about Esau, all right, "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." Now, that's Esau's mindset, all right? And he's ascended into heavens, the lower portion of the heavens by, his military technology, you know what I'm saying? They got a space force and all that, but also when it says that he's going to exalt his throne above the stars of the Most High, that's talking about the Israelites, all right? The 12 tribes are, referred to as stars as well in the scriptures. All right. It says, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation on the sides of the north. So that's the point right there. Esau has been lifted up in pride and his wickedness, but not knowing his latter end. Wickedness does not succeed, man. I don't care how far you think you've gotten in technology and whatnot, and military might. The Lord gonna bring your ass down because you ain't right. And he says in his heart right here, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." And he thinks he is God. But you got transformers in your military and all kind of chaos and confusion going on underneath your rulership. But you think you're above the creator of all energy in existence? This damn devil is out of his fucking mind. You see? And people are starting to see it. It says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." I was not talking about a dimension where you burn forever in eternity. That's talking about Esau being taken out of his heavenly state, his lofty position, being brought down to the ground, being brought down low. All right. Ultimately, he's going to be brought into captivity, and then the entire nation of Edom will be destroyed, according to Obadiah 1 and 18. All right. We're in the process of the Lord bringing his ass down now. Verse 16. Now here's the point right here. It says, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?" Yeah, man, when Esau's taken down, we're going to be looking at this nigga like, man, I can't believe this fucking weirdo was ruling the earth and terrorizing the earth. All right, with his nuclear missiles and all that, man, we can't believe that this dude, this lowly, weak, base man, was running the world in wickedness. And it's only because Yahweh Bashim Al Shah allowed him to, man. All right. So yeah, man, we're in that time now where this man gonna be brought down. It's time. He's ripe for the taking. Okay. This place has gotten so unbelievably wicked that judgment must come, man. Lord willing, is soon. All right, righteous judgment. So I'm in this lesson right here. Just wanted to share that with you. Some recent news. Donald Trump is trying to kick these damn Transformers out of his military, but it's already over, man. All right. I'm in this lesson right here. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem Shai. Kwame Yasharala and the Bible Bar. And Shabbat Shalom.